kind of stuff. And I think that his model came out feeling so good. You know, he's a big dude, he's strong, and he shows it.
Abilities.
Got it.
You know what? Yeah, show us the abilities. Run us through them.
Yeah, just go a little wild, you know.
That is a lot of Odins.
That's a lot of
There
Odins.
they go. Oh, that's incredible.
They weren't where they were a second ago.
They are not. All right, so we just saw a whole lot of things there, and this is the part where we really get into it and start talking about it. So we got to start slow. Can't get too excited all at once.
Yep.
How about the basic attack?
Yeah, so you might notice that Maui has a little targeter with him all the time. That's because he has a new unique range and new unique type of basic attack. So we've got a lot of characters who cleave, but not ones who cleave more vertically, so to speak. So his basic attack range is 25. For context, normal melee basic attacks go about 12. Spear users like Achilles go about 16. Maui is this new medium short range is what I've been kind of describing it as. It does hit everything in the area. You know, he's a guardian, so his basic attack damage is very low. It's very much like Sylvanas or something like that, who also has AoE basics, but those are a little bit more ranged. He's got this big hook. You know, we wanted him to use it more like a fishing hook than a club. And so if you've got a big hook on a lot of rope, like, you're not going to be just using it right in front of you, right? You gotta use that range advantage a little bit. And it has been, you know, it's a little thing like that to just extend the basic attack range, but it feels very unique and very fun when you get a chance to really get in there and hit people from the little spacing games of other melee characters. It's really fun.
Not to mention the troll full basic attack power builds we've tried running, which
I sure have.
We have tested. We don't believe they're very good, but we know people are going to do it anyway.
I'll
So
tell
go
you
ahead
what,
and have fun.
When you have Hastened Ring, it feels really good.
I was
in the
literally
30
thinking about
seconds
it.
after Hastened Ring is down, you won't be doing a whole lot the vast majority of the time.
I
For
was
that
like-
little amount of time, you're going to be like, wow,
We
this
would
is
not
crazy.
recommend it, but we know they're going to try anyway, so we got to call it out. It is a lot of fun, and it is really unique for the character. And while we're talking about this, might as well just get it right out in the front. The hook and the rope.
Yes.
There's a lot. There's a lot of back end work that went into that. We gotta call out some gratitude to our rigging, animation, tech art teams. Rope physics are no joke in video games, in any game. I remember like an E3 trailer, I think it was for Last of Us or something like that, that just showed like 30 seconds of something of them just messing with the rope just to show that how much rope they had. Rope physics are tough. We had a lot of stuff going on to make these visuals look really good. It took a lot of effort, a lot of testing, a lot of iteration, but it looks great.
It's a good point. I should issue a formal apology on the patch notes show to Ashley, our animation lead, who during our brainstorm said, this is all really cool, but let's not use too much rope. And then I turned around and was like, okay, so here's the kit, and it uses a ton of rope. So
we really
sorry
just
about that.
leaned into that as the hook for the kit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We wanted to use it. It's a very unique weapon, and that's what's going to play up his uniqueness of his whole kit, really.
Yep.
Yeah, and all right, so, I mean, let's keep moving. Next up, we have the passive, and I'm going to pass this to you to pronounce. Because
Oh, you're so scared, Harrison.
I am
Just a little,
horrified.
just a big old word. It's Manaya Kalani is
is
the
that
name of his hook.
Kalani.
It translates to "made fast to the heavens," which was very wordy as well. So we decided to go with the more traditional word for it.
Yeah.
And this one's really cool. So anytime an enemy god near Maui is hard crowd controlled, whether it be by him or by one of his allies, they will gain a mark. So for Billy, I don't know how we're going to jump around. Actually, if you do /pon/dev/test space the number 1, it'll get a pull. I mean, everyone knows it's a hook. It's a guy who's carrying around a hook. You've got to pull people, and we delivered on that. I can safely say you're gonna be pulling people a lot. This does have a cooldown. You'll see in the passive meter there. You know, using the cheat code that won't work in your games. Don't try it. Of the passive meter filling up. That can only happen once every 10 seconds. And again, when someone gets hard crowd controlled, a mark will appear above their head. You must basic attack them in order to charge your next basic, and then it will pull. So you can get your passive charged off someone.
Then you can hold the charge for any amount of time, right?
Walk towards
it doesn't
mid.
expire. That's awesome.
And then come in here and pull this guy who happens to be a little bit out of position. And that will pull any gods in that area that are enemies.
This is especially cool when you get to trigger it off like your hunter, you know?
Yep.
If you have a hunter like, say, Neath Root, which roots are now hard CC now, she can root your opponent. You can walk up, basic attack them, trigger your hook, and then pull them after the root is done. Really gives them a lot of synergy with Scots.
Yes,
That's awesome.
Really fun creating comps that Maui works really well with, and giving him some natural strength and some natural weaknesses where he won't be quite as good if your team doesn't have a lot of hard counter control. And so bringing some of that decision making into where is a good Maui game is something that I find very fun.
Awesome. Well, that's super cool, and I love the fact you can pull multiple people, because the potential for that in a team fight, where whether you're using it to help get somebody off your damage, or whether you're positioning their damage to get dunked, I think it's super incredible.
The peel potential is a really good thing to do. Good job.
Yep, absolutely. Now it does respect CC immunity and knockback immunity, because that's technically what it is. So you have options being hit or not hit by it as the enemy, but it definitely feels very, very good to keep people in your team's range for you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, cool. Let's move on to something I can pronounce. Ability 1, Master Fisherman.
Yeah, Master Fisherman. So this one, I mean, it just felt very natural. He starts to spin his hook, and it begins to grow in distance, very similar to something like Ulua 1, that it will grow as you continue to charge. But then you can hold it and walk around spinning the hook and kind of keeping your threat nice and high. And then when you throw it, it will go out and attach to the first enemy god hit, and Maui will begin to reel them in. They are crippled and vortexed, so neither one is a hard CC.
Technically a soft CC.
Technically soft CCs. Think of Vortex as Baron Samdi's
I was about
vault.
to say, okay.
Yep.
It's not a good catch if you're, if you just pull them right in. The fact they can fight back. I mean, it's not he didn't.
It's
earn
a big one.
Yeah. So super cool, super exciting. Next up, another ability, Mystical Ulua. I was brave. I tried that one.
And you got it right.
Nice.
Yeah, Mystical Ulua. So Ulua fish are very a big part of Hawaiian culture, so we were really excited to be able to incorporate that into the kit. This ability does absolutely 0 damage.
Got it.
0 to enemies. You can toss it,
Don't
won't do
wave
anything.
clear. Got it.
Gods, minions, doesn't matter. This is a pure support ability. So when you hover it, you can see a bigger area. Anyone in that area, when the fish lands, will gain protections and movement speed for a short amount of time, 5 seconds. So the idea is it's supposed to feel like throwing a mini relic into the middle of your team fight. And good relic usage, as all good supports know, is a huge part of what you're supposed to be doing. This has felt very fun to use in that manner. But you might notice that it leaves behind a little special something, a nice little pillar of water. Big shout out to Shane for these awesome effects. That is the timer of how long that water will last, is the big pillar.
Really cool.
And if an ally god stands on that water for 1 second, a bubble will form around them, and they will be transported to Maui. It is basically like putting down a Heimdall crystal for your ally.
It's a little untargetable trip.
Yep, exactly. So you can save your poorly positioned backliner, as they always are. You can be in an aggressive position and get your jungler into an aggressive position with you, or your warrior, or any of those people. Maui leaps up and lassos his hook around a piece of the sun and begins to swing. He can stay up there for a swing forward, back, and forward. And it isn't a predetermined landing zone. He can jump off at any point during this time. So wanted to incorporate that that trickster aspect into the kit a little bit, and this is how we were able to do it. You're a little hard to predict in where you're going to land, but it feels so fun to use. I mean, landfall, baby. You just pick a target out in the distance, and Maui makes mountains happen, just like that. He leaps up, grabs the island, and pulls it up. This is, I'd say, the iconic lore story for Maui is raising up the islands of Hawaii and New Zealand and all of a bunch of Pacific islands. And we knew that it had to be a big part of the kit. Herc 2 is one of my favorite abilities in the whole game. It feels so fun to use.